You are watching Premier Sports Network's exclusive content, Mongolian Basketball League. One on one.
Hello, Scott. Thank you for coming to the show.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Please briefly introduce yourself to us and our viewers.
I'm Devon Scott. I'm from Columbus, Ohio. I've been playing basketball as a professional now for 9 years. I'm very much a lover of the game of basketball. I've played all over the world. I've played in a lot of different countries. I have a wife and 2 kids who are also here, who love it here, and I'm just enjoying my time, man.
So did you play any other sports than basketball? Because to me, you'll be really good linebacker.
Yeah, I played football for a while when I was young. I transitioned to basketball permanently when I was in 9th grade. I played football leading up to then, but I got pretty tall, pretty fast. And my dad actually used to play football. That was his sport. So he told me, you're going to be too tall. Basketball is your thing. Just stick with basketball. So I trusted him, and that was it. I wrestled for a little while when I was young, but football and basketball was my main two.
Like most of the kids in the States, they try multi-sports when they're in high school, right?
Yeah. When you're growing up, just playing with your friends, you do a lot of different things. Football, basketball, baseball, do a little bit of everything. But for me specifically, football and basketball were what I really loved.
You played for Dayton Flyers in college.
Yeah.
What was your reason to choosing Dayton?
Actually, man, I originally I was committed to the University of Cincinnati. At the time, they were in the Big East before the Big East broke up and became Conference USA and things like that. So I was really interested in playing in the Big East. At the time, it was Syracuse, Georgetown, UConn. It was super strong.
Yes.
Once the conference broke up and things like that, and the team wanted me to redshirt, sit out my first year, I just was like, I'll open my recruitment up and go back out and see what's out there. And the final 4 teams I chose were Alabama, Tennessee, Ohio, and Dayton. And my dad just told me, you're going to be pretty far if you go to Alabama. I really like Alabama. I like Alabama football. He was just like, you're going to be pretty far. Your family's not going to be able to see you much. I chose Dayton, and one of my high school teammates went to Dayton also with me. So it was probably the best choice I could have made. We ended up going to the Elite 8. We played probably some of the best basketball of my life, some of the funnest basketball of my life there.
And also closer to home and the relatives?
Yeah, everyone, my dad came to every home game. Every game that was in UD Arena, my dad was there. He still has the tickets. My mom, she came to a few. My now wife, she came to just about all the home games. It was special having my family there.
What influence Coach Archie Miller have on your career as an athlete?
Man, he's a great basketball coach. He taught me so much about the game of basketball, the mental, the toughness it takes, the things that it really takes to be a true basketball player. He taught me a lot about things on the court that I feel like I still carry to this day. Those hard days in college are what kind of build you for your professional career if you want to play. And even if you don't want to play basketball, if you go out into the business world, those days of dedication and hard work are what I feel like kind of set you ahead of others, because those are experiences you can't get anywhere else. Those super tough days in the summertime when it's just you, the basketball team, and maybe the girls' basketball team on campus. There's nothing to do but work hard and just go back to your dorm and sleep, So I think he more than anything, he taught me how to work very hard.
You guys still have contact?
No, I haven't spoke to Archie in a while, man. He after he left Dayton, he went to the University of Indiana and then Rhode Island, which
now
is
he's
also
working at the Rhode Island.
Yeah, so I haven't spoke to him in a while, but I would be open to to seeing how he's doing and things like that.
We Mongolians have become more aware of the Dayton Flyers team in recent years because of the first Mongolian player ever playing in NCAA Division I, Sharavjamts, who played a couple years with the Flyers. But now he's playing on a different team. But his
Yeah.
journey to be first Mongolian ever to play in NBA continues.
Yeah,
So this is a really big deal for us
For
as a
sure.
Mongolians. So
Yeah.
have you seen Mike play? Or?
yeah. When I there's a friend I have. He was a coach there. He's coaching the NBA now, but he was telling me about Mike when because sometimes I go back to Dayton in the summertime and just see people. My academic advisor, the coach there now. He used to play at Dayton a long time ago. He actually recruited me when he was coaching at Alabama. Like I said, they were one of my teams. So sometimes I go back there and see guys and things like that. And his nickname there is Mongolian Mike. That's what they call him. So yeah, I was familiar with him. And I asked my friend why he decided to transfer, and he was just like, it's a better opportunity for him, more playing time, better situation. I was like, see, it's a business, even in college, and I'm happy for him. I wish him all the best.
Yeah, all the Mongolians are rooting for him, He already made history with the Division I offer. Now his goal is NBA, so we're all the fingers crossed.
Yeah.
So getting into NBA is obviously a huge challenge, and you obviously had that goal too. For our viewers who doesn't know about this challenge, what would you say if you asked to give us an idea how challenges are getting into NBA?
I mean, getting into the league it's just like achieving any dream. It comes with its own set of challenges, things you can't control. There's elements of the sport that don't have anything to do with basketball. There's politics, did you go to this school? Did you play well here? Did you, if you go to Duke and average 10 points, you have a better chance of making it to the NBA where if you went to Arkansas and averaged 20 points, just because you're at Duke. So that doesn't really have anything to do with basketball. It's more about the name and things like that. So I think there's a lot of things that we don't know when we're growing up and learning. As kids and young men, we don't understand that it's not just who the best players get to go. It's not always that. It's more about things that you don't know about. So I think that the biggest challenge though is just making the right decisions. At a young age, it's very hard. Making the right college decisions, making the right AAU decisions, being in the right pipeline. Kind of just. Is your path pushing you to the NBA, early? That's something that you don't know unless someone is telling you or coaching you.
It's all about the connections. If you play for the big programs like Kentucky, Duke, North Carolina, you got a better chance to get into the league, as you were saying.
Right. And team success doesn't really matter that much. It does, but if you're at North Carolina and you don't have the most team success, you still have a very good chance as long as you do what you're supposed to do.
So my next question is, now we're going to talk about your team here, the Metal, the Bishop Metal. Your team had a rough start of the season, but now it seems like you guys are playing your best basketball at the right moment. So what is the team atmosphere is like now?
I mean, I think that the biggest thing that helped us out was just the coaching change. And I don't blame the previous coach for what was going on. I just think that the change was
needed.
And I don't think it necessarily, again, like I liked the coach before, but I think the changes that the coach we have now brought in the offense and the emphasis on defense and things like that really, really helped us a lot. He really empowers everyone on the team to play your best basketball inside the system. He doesn't really focus on Wes and I just playing isolation basketball. He doesn't just say, give them the ball and get out the way. He really makes us all move around. He wants everyone to feel comfortable. He tells us all, like, if you're open, shoot the ball. It's not a bad shot if you're wide open and you work on your shot. But defensively, I think is what really is the biggest jump we've made. He really emphasizes playing defense. He really emphasizes focusing on stopping your man first. And if something happens where they get by you or a shot goes up or something, having team help, this team defense, is team rebounding. I think that's really the biggest thing that's been the change. It's just a change in mindset.
after the coaching change, you guys won like 5 in a row.
Mhm.
And then now your guys are back on the second seat in the standings, completely different team. So the fans are really about the new coaches' philosophy. Also, you guys have done it. So the team reached the finals for previous 2 seasons,
Yeah.
but they came up short.
Right.
And now it's clear to me that they're aiming to get there again. And you and Wesley really looks like a players to get over that hump. So,
I mean, I know that winning a championship is super hard. You know, last season I came up short also. I lost in the BCLA in South America.
Yeah.
And I lost in the domestic league in the championship in Brazil. So winning a championship is tough, man. You know, I 100% have confidence in my team. You know, these guys obviously know what it takes to get to the championship. Wesley's a great player. I feel like me and him play very well together. We're both unselfish. We have no problem passing the ball to each other, to our teammates. You know, we play the basketball the right way. I just know that when, you know, the playoff starts, anything can happen. So you have to focus on, you know, one game at a time, one series at a time, because if you start the playoffs just assuming that you're going to end up in the finals, you can lose, you know, in the first round and your season will be over. So for me, my focus is really just one game at a time, get in the playoffs, and the season starts over. So it's a brand new season as soon as the playoffs start.
so far, if you could say any team, which team is giving you most problem?
Man,
Or
the
any
Miners.
player.
The Miners.
Yeah?
I don't know why, but they just for some reason have a tendency to stick around. And it's not just us. They've won like the last 9 out of 10 they had.
Yeah.
And they're all very close games, overtime, things like that. They just have a tendency, like I said, to stick around, stay there to the end of the game. But I believe any team in the playoffs, when you have time to just focus on them, when you can just game plan for that team, it changes everything. You know, we play a lot of games fast. Like, you know, the last 2 days we had games back to back. You know, we really practiced and strategized for the Bodons, but we didn't have any time to strategize as much for the Broncos. So, you know, it changes things a little bit. But in the playoff series, I feel like we can beat anybody.
When I watch your team play, even when you're on the bench, you're always cheering for your teammates and always giving them advice. And you are really the vocal leader they lacked last season. So how have you taken on that role?
I think it's kind of just my personality. You know, I'm a loud person. My kids are loud because they have my voice and things like that. I think God really blessed me with a natural leadership demeanor. I think, and that's another thing about Wesley, is he's very much more on the Kawhi Leonard side, where he leads by example. You know, he wants to lead with his play. I think we balance each other out well in that regard. You know, Wes and I will talk about something, and I'll vocalize it, and he'll have the play. You know, I think that's very important to have balance. I think that the guys over time have grown to learn me, which is important because. Especially like in practice and things like that, I can seem very mean and like I'm just yelling at you, but it's more of I want to win. You know, I want you to be the best player you can be, so we all can, you know, celebrate at the end of the season. And I think they had to learn that, you know, and now that they understand that, I think that we're all moving in the same direction.
Weston, you guys know about each other before you guys came to this team?
You know what's funny? Wes and I played against each other in college and didn't know it.
Really?
Yeah, we when he first got here, we're just, you know, learning about each other, just talking and things like that. I'm like, oh, where'd you go to school? Oh, I went to USC. I'm like, okay, you went to USC? I played against USC. Really? Where? I have a picture on my phone. He's in the picture. Of me. I'm like grabbing a rebound or something. It's 4 USC people. It's just me and it's him in the corner. Randomly, and I'm like, and I only have like maybe 1 or 2 pictures from that game, and the one I have is he's in that picture. And then
that's crazy.
I played against. He went to Gonzaga his last year. I played against Gonzaga like 2 years later. I think he might have already been gone, but it's crazy how small the basketball world is.
I ask that because you guys have really good chemistry on the court.
Yeah.
So you guys just know what to do where's the Wesley's. You just pass it, and vice versa, you know. When
Yeah.
Wesley is not with the ball, he finds you.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think that he's an easy player to play with as a big. It's not hard for us to figure it out. You know, I'll come to him and say, like, you know, hey, I'm setting this screen hard, so come off and attack. Or, hey, I'm a touch and go. I'm not really going to set the screen because my man is hedging hard. I'm there, and he's cool with that. He just, okay, cool, I got you. Or, okay, I'll attack, or whatever. You know, we listen to each other well. Dev, they don't have a big attack. Don't worry about passing the ball right now. Dev, you know, we need you to get more rebounds or whatever. And I think removing your ego between us is what's most important. You know, like Wes scores the ball really well. If I was a selfish player, if I was a player that was worried about my numbers, I would try to not pass him the ball or score on my own and things like that. But winning is what's most important to both of us. So when I'm playing well, he's cheering for me, just like if he's playing well, I'm cheering for him, and you know, everything like that. So I love playing with him.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Of course, you have played in many foreign countries throughout your career. I'm looking at here like New Zealand, Argentina, Israel, Brazil, Italy, Mexico, and brief stint in South Korea and the Philippines. Now here in Mongolia. What's the most important experience and lesson you have learned from all this?
Man, the most important lesson I've learned throughout this whole process is just appreciating everything. You know, God really gifted my family and I with the opportunity to see the world and do something I love while doing it. When I was young, I didn't leave my city until I was basically in high school. My first time being on a plane was in high school, and that was because of basketball. But I was a kid that when I was growing up, I didn't want to leave. I love where I lived. I thought I was going to be there forever, and you know, I was okay with that. But God really, really blessed me, even through mistakes I made in my life and things like that. God has blessed me to get to have a beautiful family that's seen the world. My kids have tasted Mongolian food. They tasted Korean food. They've been in Brazil for Carnival. They've been in Italy and went to school. They've seen everything. They've done so much before. My son's birthday was yesterday. He turned 11.
Oh, yeah?
He's 11 years old, and he's been to most of those countries already and experienced the culture. Like, I can't be anything but grateful. I appreciate it.
Yeah, that's cool. And experiencing different countries and different customs and meeting many different people. Yeah, it's really special especially for your son and daughter from the young age.
Yeah. Right? They make friends everywhere. You know, it's our general manager TUMURUU. His sons love playing with my kids, and they love playing with them. And it's just cool to see them running around and you know, making friends with people that they would never meet if they were just only in America. You know, they were able to come here and make friendships that may last a lifetime.
How are they adjusting to life in Mongolia?
I think my family in general was just so used to being in all those different places. They just know, like, you know, in the summertime when we go home, after a while, my kids start to ask, Dad, where are we going? You know,
where are we going next?
Yeah, what's the next place? Are we going back here, or are we going to a different place? You know, my daughter, she always says where she wants to go. She for her birthday, she's like, I want to go to Paris. Can you play in Paris? No, I don't have that option this year, but I think they really just enjoy being, you know, anywhere. They love seeing different cultures and things like that. So they adjust pretty fast, and they always adapt to whatever culture. What's their
favorite Mongolian dish now?
Favorite Mongolian dish? What do they always ask for? Let me think. They tried the bone marrow. They like that a lot. Yeah. You know, but they love the soups. My daughter's favorite thing in general is pasta. So anything with noodles, you know, ramen, whatever, soup with noodles. She just loves noodles. So my son, he eats anything. He's like a garbage can. He eats everything.
The Lunar New Year is coming, so it will be completely a unique experience for you and your family.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I think that's something my wife loves. She loves the special times in different places. She loves to embrace the culture, so that'll be cool.
So after all this traveling around the world and playing different countries, what do you consider most when you get to play overseas?
Meaning, like, what do I...
Like when they offer you a job,
What's most important?
Yeah, most important for you to choose that place to.
The first thing I always choose is, is my family going to be comfortable? I'm not the same person when my family's not here.
Of course.
It's just, when you're a father, when you're a husband, you just worry about your family in general, and it's very hard when on the other side of the earth. The phone calls are short because of the time difference and things like that. So first, is my family going to be comfortable and things like that, and second is the basketball is the basketball, quality enough. I don't want to just go somewhere for money. I want to play quality basketball that's going to continue to push my career forward and potentially win a championship.
Yeah, winning the championship is really important no matter where you play.
For sure. My goal when I go anywhere, no matter where the team is in the standing, my goal is to win a championship. Simple. Like, I'm a firm believer if you make the playoffs, you have a chance. It doesn't matter what it looks like on paper. We've seen teams that are underdogs win championships all over the world in a bunch of different sports. Yeah. So
once you get in, it's a different story, right? Anything can happen.
A brand new season. Everybody is 0-0 now, so you have a chance. You just got to take advantage while you have it.
I saw that your family, during the game, they're cheering you on. They seem to be watching every game, right? Your son is running around the arena, and everyone in the arena is familiar with him and your family. How special is it providing all this opportunity for your family?
Man, it's a lot. My kids being able to see me play, in my prime is special. My dad, we were speaking before we started recording, my dad played football. Yeah. But I never, when I was born, he was still playing, but I was too small to remember.
He played professionally?
It's semi-professional, yes. So just in general, when you see your dad, he just looks like a superhero. Yes. It doesn't matter what he does. He could be a guy that fixes cars. You in your mind, you're just like, man, you're the best mechanic ever. It's just a thing. So I would have loved to see him play. I would have loved to come to his games and watch him, but I never got the chance. So for me, it's special, when I have moments in the game where I catch my kids or my wife or something like that. My son, he's seen me play. He's been around since I was in college. So he's seen me progress. He's seen the highs and the lows. He's seen everything. My daughter, she doesn't really care about basketball. She's at the game to have fun. After the game is over, she always comes up, did you win? You were at the game. You don't know if we won, but she's for sure one of the things that keeps me happy playing the game, because I look up and she catches me and she smiles at me or she waves, and that just reminds you that the game is fun, but there's things more important. It's bigger than the game. So it's special, man. I love it.
And your son also plays in a kids league here in Mongolia.
Yeah, for Evolution. Yeah, he always tries to play wherever we go. That's what's important for him. He asks, "Hey, Dad, do they have a junior team? Do they have a league I can play in?" So he's playing for that team, and they're older, so it's a challenge for him. The team he plays on is a high school team, so it's a challenge. But I love that for him because it makes him work hard. You have to adapt and grow and figure out how to be a part of the team.
So it sounds like family's been busy then. They come to your game, and then of course you guys all together go to your son's game too, right? That's special.
And he's 11 on a high school team, so he sucks. He's not playing much, but I'm cheering for you. The 10 seconds you play, I'm cheering for you.
Yeah, that's special. So there are a lot of young and inexperienced players within your team. So what advice you gave them during the practice or after the games?
I really just try to be positive and give small things. When someone isn't very experienced or if they're still learning and growing, you can't give them a lot at one time, because you can kind of overload it. But specifically with the bigs or the point guard Jerry, Jerry specifically is he's good. He's fast. He plays hard. He can shoot the ball well. Something I try to help him with is just turning the ball over, passing the ball. he has the right idea, but he's sometimes not confident in his decisions. I came up to him and told him after a friendly game we had, you know, I was like, I asked him, what do you think makes me a good passer? Mm-hmm. And he kind of was just hesitant. I just told him, I was like, it's confidence. You're going to turn the ball over. It's a part of the game. Mm-hmm. You know, if the game is too fast, there's too much going on, you're going to have turnovers. But your confidence in your decisions will always supersede whatever negative thing you have, because even if you turn the ball over, have the confidence to make that same pass or that same play again. Guys like Monster on my team, number 99, he's a big body. You know, he's strong. He's, you know, quick on his feet a little bit. I try to help him with just understanding how to move and be in places without fouling, because he can play great defense, but sometimes because of the lack of experience, he fouls. Mm-hmm. Just try to give little things along the way, you know, and, you know, hopefully I help them in some way and they can take it with their career as they go forward.
I hope they really appreciate being around you. So the experience is the most important thing. Yeah,
I mean, I think that, like, for me, I appreciate being around them because they give me another layer of purpose playing. You know, believe it or not, they, just as much as I talk to them, they keep me accountable, because I remember now I have younger guys watching, you know, me, whether they understand me or not, because sometimes, you know, the guys don't speak English and things like that. What you see is more important than anything. I can tell them something, but if I walk away and do something completely different, it doesn't mean anything. So I always try to be very conscious of what I'm doing and how I carry myself and my attitude. Mm-hmm.
The team is progressing day by day, right?
Yeah, for
Everybody's
sure.
learning from each other. Mm-hmm. So that's the most important thing.
For sure.
So team growth. Mm-hmm. So you previously played with the Brazilian team Flamengo in the FIBA BCL Americas. Mm-hmm. But this time you are going to play for the Mongolian team in FIBA BCL Asia.
Yeah.
This is an interesting case. In 2 years you played in 2 different continents and tried to compete for the BCL. So how was the BCL experience for you?
Man, I loved it. It was special. I think as a player, well, I'll speak for myself. Me as a player, I always want to compete at the highest level I can. And that's a part of the reason why I've played in so many different places. I want to experience a lot of different basketball. I want to compete against, you know, the NBA guys. I want to compete against the top European guys, the top, you know, Filipino guy, whatever. You know, I just want to play the best basketball I can. So in the case of the BCL, you are in a situation where you're playing some of the best teams in these countries, and that's always special. Those games always are intense. They're very physical. They're very up and down. There's a lot of, you know, it's why you play the game. You know, you play the game to play at the highest level, and those games provide that opportunity for you, and I really, really enjoy it.
So after this season, if the team offer you a contract, would you come back?
I mean, I don't see why not. I have a very good relationship with the team. You know, like I said, I love the head coach. I would love if the team would offer myself and Wesley, you know, but again, like we said before we were recording, it's a business. I'm very much aware that, you know, the team may see another player that comes available and say, you know, Devon, we really like you, but this guy is better for our team, and that's okay. You know, it's business. The same way, if another team somewhere else may be a better situation for myself, I would 100% say thank you to the team, but, you know, this is a better business decision. But I do feel that there's a sense of home here. Like I said, my family really likes it here. I love the team. You know, my teammates are super cool. The owners and everyone has been very, very good. And I think that it would be a great opportunity to come back if I can.
Also, the Metal fans and supporters, they seem to be growing, you know?
Yeah. There's definitely, it seems like every game there's a little bit more, and especially when we play big teams like the Broncos or whatever, that's when they decide to show up and, you know, show love. So, you know, that would be cool.
So you were saying this is your 9th season playing pro basketball. So what's the future plans? How long you're gonna do this?
I mean, I always say I'm gonna play until my body doesn't want to do it anymore, or my mind. You know, one of the two. I think that really, you know, whenever I get to a point where I don't feel like working hard anymore. When I feel like it's more of I have to force myself to want to get better, force myself. Like, that's when I think it's time to put the ball down. But I don't feel that way. You know, I feel like I'm always going to be, not always, but for the foreseeable future, I'm going to continue to want to work hard, want to keep going, and my body feels good. You know, I definitely, you know, I don't feel like I'm 22 anymore, but I definitely don't feel that I'm slowing down so much where I'm like, man, I don't know if I can do it. You know, I still feel very good. So I don't know. You know, whenever God says it's time, it's time.
Will you become a coach?
I would. I think that would be something that I would enjoy. I already have an AAU team in America.
Oh, yeah?
A really good friend of mine and myself started the team like 7-8 years ago. And, you know, while I'm gone, he runs the team. When I come home in the summertime, we do things together. But I think just giving back that knowledge, the same way I try to help the young guys on my team, I try to do the same thing at home.
So is there any unique experience working with the kids?
Yeah, like I said, the team at home, sometimes when I go overseas, you know, there's opportunities for us to, you know, go to schools or things like that to talk to kids. Like, I just think that as professionals, we have so much knowledge of the game.
To share with, right?
Yeah, like give it back, you know?
And lastly, if you want to say something to your team supporters.
Man, I really appreciate everybody showing love. I really appreciate all the energy, the love, the effort you guys give at the games, because we feel it on the court. You know, we feel everything you guys feel. Every shot we miss, we hear you. We feel every shot we make, we hear you. So continue to show up, show love, and give us all the support you can, because we need it, especially trying to, like you said, get over that hump and win that championship for you guys. So I look forward to seeing you guys in the playoffs, man. It'll be fun.
All right, and we appreciate you coming to this studio.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it, man.
All right, good luck for the season, man.
Thank you.
You are watching Premier Sports Network's exclusive content, Mongolian Basketball League. 1-on-1.